Our people strategy is central to Radian's continued ability to sustain and scale housing access over the long term. No matter how the market changes, our ability to deliver depends on our people's ability to adapt and stay aligned with our mission. I'm Justin Foster, Radian's Senior Vice President of People Experience. My path to this role hasn't been a straight line. I've worked in multiple industries before joining the housing and mortgage insurance space. And one thing that I've observed or noticed is that the core tenets of leadership are pretty consistent across industries. The context changes, the products, the customers, the market cycles, but the fundamentals of good leadership really remain the same. One thing I've learned over my career working across industries like financial services to academia to nonprofits is that change is the only constant, but how you lead through it will define your credibility. And I think that teams look to their leaders on how to react. Not every shift requires a dramatic reaction. Sometimes it's about keeping perspective, communicating clearly, and making sure that our people know what's important and really what isn't. When I joined the housing and mortgage insurance industry, I learned how deeply our work is connected to people's lives. What we do helps families achieve and sustain home ownership, and that change gives a different weight to every decision we make and about how we lead our teams. That ultimately impacts how well we're going to serve our customers. Generally speaking, overall, I believe that people strategy is business strategy, especially in a business like ours. If our teams are engaged, well-led, and equipped with the right tools, they will naturally deliver better results for our customers. And so my role at Radian is to help find those opportunities to remove friction to our people so that they can remove friction from the customers we serve. We're seeing multiple currents moving at once. Workforce expectations are evolving, technology is changing, and how work gets done is changing also. And just overall the normal market cycles of our industry. I think the pace is faster, which makes adaptability more important than ever. One of the strengths that we have at Radian is that we've built a reputation as a trusted provider and partner over decades. And in 2027, we're going to celebrate 50 years in business. That kind of longevity only happens if you're both dependable and forward-looking. Our customers know that we're going to be there for them through every market cycle with the talent and solutions they need to be successful. For Radian and our family of companies, the way we serve customers through this is by being consistent where it matters most. Reliability, expertise, responsiveness, while also being bold enough to evolve. That means modernizing our processes, being thoughtful about experimentation, and developing new capabilities and making sure our people are ready for whatever comes next. From a talent perspective, we're using this moment not just to respond to the market, but to build capability that's going to matter in the next chapter. Deeper orchestration across teams, sharper operational discipline, and stronger cross-functional skills that will allow us to pivot quickly without losing consistency. It's a fascinating time. We're watching interest rates, inventory levels, affordability challenge, all of which affect our customer strategy. But we're also seeing a shift in how talent works in this industry. So from that perspective, I think there's a generational change underway with newer entrants into the industry bringing different expectations about technology, flexibility, and development. At the same time, we have deeply experienced professionals whose knowledge is critical to run our business. And I think the opportunity and the challenge is to blend that deep expertise with fresh perspectives. So at Radian, we've been intentional about honoring the expertise of our long-tenured people while accelerating the development of newer talent. We see that in intergenerational mentoring programs. We see that in how we staff different projects and initiatives. And I believe that when people feel seen and supported for the strengths they bring, they deliver, and they deliver in outsized ways. So oftentimes I think our generational shifts are framed as a divide. And I don't really see it that way. I see a spectrum of strengths. Experienced team members bring judgment and insight that you can't speed train. And newer members bring adaptability, digital fluency, and a different way of thinking about opportunities. We create intentional overlap, generational mentorship mixed with project teams, shared learning experiences so that strengths meet instead of miss each other. And when that happens, I think you get better decisions, more innovation, and a steadier experience for our customers. As it relates to AI, the first thing is remembering that technology doesn't replace trust. It should reinforce it. Customers trust us because we deliver. We keep our commitments and we know our business deeply. We see AI and automation as tools to help our people do their jobs better, not as a replacement for the relationships and expertise that make us valuable. And that means being thoughtful in how we introduce new technology, ensuring our teams are trained, and making sure that the human element stays front and center. I think with a multi-generational workforce, communication is going to be key. We can't assume one message works for everyone. We have to meet people where they are, whether that's through mentoring, upskilling, or rethinking workflows almost entirely. And customers will benefit from that because we're getting the best of both worlds. Retention and engagement are outcomes of culture where people know they matter and see where they're going. Retention and engagement, they start with leadership. People don't just work for companies, they work for leaders that they can trust. At Radian, we focus on leadership development at every single level. We have an in-house facilitator-led executive development program for senior leaders and a leadership program for middle managers. And they're both designed to make sure our leaders are equipped to inspire, guide, and support their teams. We've built programs that help people see a path forward and understand what skills they need and get the tools to get there. And we pair that with genuine recognition. Our programs are 2 parts education, 1 part recognition. And so when you come to a Radian built leadership development program, we're showing an intentional investment by the company in our leaders and a recognition that drives performance. When people feel invested in, they invest back, both in each other, in their performance, and in the customers that we serve. So a high-performing team isn't just a group of talented individuals. It's a team that knows how to work together towards a shared goal. My philosophy is that you hire for competence and chemistry. You need the right skills, but you also need people who understand the value of collaboration, who can think laterally across the enterprise, and who have a deep respect for the contribution and experiences of others. At Radian, we invest in people from day one. That means thoughtful onboarding, targeted development, and opportunities to work cross-functionally to stretch their capabilities. We want people to leave an opportunity to collaborate thinking that was time well spent, because that's how you know you're building something that matters. High-performing teams are also multifaceted teams in background, perspective, and experience. That range leads to better decisions, which leads to better outcomes for customers. One thing leaders can take away from Radian's approach is that hiring is the start of the relationship, not the end. We've evolved our process to focus on both immediate capability, but also long-term potential. We're looking for people who can grow with us because in a market that's constantly changing, you need people who can adapt. We also need to invest, I think, in the next generation of managers and leaders. I'm especially passionate about the development side because at Radian, we've built programs that meet people where they are. Our leadership and development programs are built in-house, designed around our culture, our business, and our customers' expectations of us. Not everyone needs the same thing at the same time, so our programs are flexible and personalized. So when we hire people at Radian, the goal is to invest in them early and often. That means structured career exploration in key functions, rotational programs, and opportunities to broaden experience. Mentoring relationships, skill building, that's tied to real business need. And over time, that has created a workforce that's not only high performing today, but also prepared for the roles and challenges we can't fully see yet in the future. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people become homeowners through low down payment options backed by private mortgage insurance. And a strong majority of those are first-time home buyers, and a significant share are moderate income families. So that tells us that the need for housing access isn't going away, it's evolving. Our industry could not be more important to the success of the American economy. So for Radian and our family of companies, nearly every part of the mortgage lifecycle touches our team at some point. And that means the people serving customers at Radian have a direct impact on making homeownership possible for those hundreds of thousands of households each year. So that's why we're so intentional about hiring, development, and retention. We take pride in ensuring that regardless of the market dynamics, our team is aligned with our mission and ready to anticipate and meet the needs of our customers. What's key here is that people strategy is business strategy, especially in a business like ours. It starts with clarity. Everyone in the organization should know how their work connects to the customer experience. Culture is foundation. Without a strong culture, even talented people default to silos. And at Radian, our culture is anchored in our values and reinforced in how we hire, develop, and lead. Upskilling builds confidence and connection. When people feel capable and better connected across the company, they're more willing to step into projects that stretch them and work with peers in other areas. And retention matters because collaboration improves when you have stable teams who know and trust each other. High turnover, I think, erodes trust. Customers feel the difference when they work with teams that operate as one, not as many. And big picture, when you invest in culture, capability, and continuity, you get collaboration that's natural, consistent, and focused on what matters most. Our people strategy is central to Radian's continued ability to sustain and scale housing access over the long term. No matter how the market changes, our ability to deliver depends on our people's ability to adapt and stay aligned with our mission. The way we sustain and scale is by making sure we have the leadership, the talent, and the culture to deliver consistently over time. So that means attracting the right people, developing them, keeping them engaged, and aligning their work to our mission. When we do that, we're not just responding to the market, we're helping shape it. And as we approach our 50th year in 2027, we're doing it with the confidence of an organization that has been proven to adapt, evolve, and lead for the long haul.